Agriculture on the move.
Agricole mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole mouvement. Good day again, viewers, and welcome to the program Agriculture on the Move. My name is Phillip Sydney. I'll be your host for the next 30 minutes. Today our topic is Global Entrepreneurship Week 2017. Without further ado, I'll introduce you to my three guests who will dissect this topic ably. To my immediate right,
I am Paula Seraphine, Director of the Job Centre Human Resource Management Services.
Wilton Jeremie Program Officer for the St. Lucia Youth Business Trust.
Dahlia Phillip Agricultural Officer in the Ministry of Agriculture.
ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having us.
And
Thank
of course, I
you.
know you all are very busy, so thank you for taking time off to tell St. Lucia about global entrepreneurship. Jeremy, I'll start off with you because the background I have is that this global entrepreneurship began in the UK in 2004 and it went global in 2007. Give us the background, you know, how was that conceptualized?
For Global Entrepreneurship Week, it was actually an effort by the Kaufman Foundation and also the UK government, as you mentioned. So it would have been termed UK Enterprise Week when it started off in 2004. And it went global in 2007, as you mentioned, with about 37 countries coming on board to observe 1 week throughout the year as Global Entrepreneurship Week. The St. Lucia actually came on board in 2011, where the St. Lucia Chamber of Commerce realized the benefits of entrepreneurship and decided to jump on the celebration. Now, Global Entrepreneurship Week is celebrated in over 170 countries around the world. We see more than 3 million people being impacted by the program. But also in St. Lucia, what we do is we try to engage both the public and private sectors to come on board to support entrepreneurship in the country and also host activities that one make us think about entrepreneurship, make us either be inspired to become entrepreneurs. And with that week in November, this year being hosted from the 13th to the 19th, we seek to inspire, mentor, connect, and engage entrepreneurs.
So in other words, how did, so we're talking about entrepreneurship, okay? Somebody must have had an idea of why that came up. How did that come about? I mean, we're talking entrepreneurship, you know, how, give us I mean, you give a background on how it began, but in terms of the objective.
For the Chamber of Commerce especially, it is imperative that we push entrepreneurship and we champion it. From the Chamber's point of view, over 60% of the membership is actually small members.
Okay.
A lot of persons may believe that the Chamber is only concerned with big businesses. However, with a ratio like that, it is important for us to nurture entrepreneurship. So the Chamber already has 2 youth programs where we have the Junior Achievement Program that focuses on young persons ages 6 all the way to 18. The St. Lucia Youth Business Trust comes in to assist persons who have a business idea between the ages of 18 to 35. And the aim is that persons who go through those programs will either mature and become business owners themselves and then hopefully be members of the Chamber of Commerce.
Okay. So does it entail a wide spectrum of the public who would come to, or is it specific, say agriculture, but is it broad?
For us, one of the areas that we may have focused on would be youth.
Okay.
In terms of the industry, we try to engage all the industries, as you will see this year. And years before, we've had the Ministry of Agriculture on board. We've also had the Ministry of Youth. We were able to get the Ministry of Sustainable Development and Renewable Energy on board. So we're not specific to any industry per se.
Okay.
However, our efforts have been focused mainly on youth. With this year, our theme was actually cultivating young leaders for entrepreneurial success. So a lot of our efforts would be either get to young persons, and we're looking at individuals anywhere from the age of 6 all the way up to 35.
Okay, great. So, Mrs. Seraphine, that's your role now. What's your role?
Okay, my role as Director of the Human Resource Management Services, the Job Centre, focuses on sustainable development. And we do that by supporting people to stay in work. And also, we talk about staying in employment, and that's also being able to focus on entrepreneurship, because it is a form of employment for those persons who are not able to otherwise be engaged by an employer in somebody else's business. And so, as my colleague here said, it's very important that government, their initiatives to support young persons, young leaders, and encourage and also empower them to become entrepreneurs, because I think it is essential to economic growth. And so the Job Centre focuses also on giving persons the essential skills. We see many people, and it has been my experience also, where I have met young entrepreneurs who have great ideas, perhaps have not gone through a system, a proper framework where they can be coached and directed. And so they start business, and they are not very successful. And when business fails, then they become demotivated and they refuse to try again. And so we empower persons with soft skills, say, your customer service training, you know, your interpersonal skills, and all of these things that are essential to the success of entrepreneur.
So is there a collaboration between your department, your unit, with Jeremie's unit?
Not at the moment. While the Job Centre is very new, we have similar visions in terms of empowering young leaders to become entrepreneurs.
Because I can see, for example, people going to him or to his unit for assistance, okay? And they need to be empowered, all right? Now, maybe they're not that skilled in that particular domain. And then I can see you coming, on board.
Absolutely.
So how soon will that marriage be formed?
Well, the Job Centre look forward to, working and being a partner in terms of economic growth as it relates to empowering youth, in particular, in the direction of entrepreneurship and employment.
And also for us, with the way the youth business trust is structured, I think it would allow a lot of flexibility for that, because we have the secretariat, yes, but we also seek to partner with organizations that could best assist those young entrepreneurs.
Right.
And we understand as well that there may be situations where we may not be the best.
That's right.
But to be that kind of conduit to lead persons to an organization that could assist.
Correct. Yes. Dahlia, what's your take on the ministry's point of view?
Well, as we have heard for many years, we have the YAP program, which deals with the youth, the young farmers. And as an agricultural officer for over 17 years, I've seen the farmers' children take on the jobs that the parents cannot do anymore because of their old age. And they feel disenchanted that they don't know how to run the business. And farming is a business.
It is.
Lots of persons have believed that farming is going into the hot sun, digging the ground and pull up yams or dashing. But then we have our success stories with our poultry farmers, with our crops farmers, the herbs. We have organic farming now. So the youth is coming on board. And we, as the ministry, got on board with GW 4 years ago. That's when Dr. Isaac was PS, and he had nominated me to be on as the rep for the ministry. And I was like, okay, let me try this, because I was young, still young, but younger then. And I really love to push the young farmers. And then he saw this as a place where I can go out there and actually make a difference. So I'm on board, and I'm bringing in our youth to the forum on Monday. We had the launch, and we had over 10 YAP persons there, attended the ceremony at Sanders, and they were able to speak to entrepreneurs that actually making money in this country. Were able to get advice that they will maybe never be able to sit with. Mr. Kajada, Reno Kajada was there. Customs officials were there to let them know about their taxes, when import tax and export. And it was so wonderful, and they got a lot of information there. So agriculture being on board with GW, it gave them a forum, a platform that they'll never be able to get, just being on the farm.
Very good, well said. We are due for our first break. We're moving fast and furious. You're watching Agriculture on the Move. Stay tuned. We'll be back soon.
family time is a healthy time, and a healthy family eats smart. Local fish and seafood from fishermen and farmers that you trust with your family's health is always fresh. Choose fresh seafood because it's packed with nutrients. St. Lucia's fish and seafood producers meet every government standard for health and safety, high quality, fresh local food products straight from the fisherman to you. Choose St. Lucian fish and seafood at your local grocers and choose a healthy lifestyle for your entire family.
I use fresh local fish right there from the fisheries department. Eat fresh, buy local.
St. Lucia's fishermen produce an abundance of fresh foods, highly nutritious and incredibly tasty. Together when it's most important. Healthy families, buy fresh, eat fresh.
Welcome back to the program. Just eavesdropping on your little conversation here, you talk about the various islands involved. Tell us a little more. Is there any collaboration with the other islands?
Well, what we've noticed just to give you a bit of insight into the inception of the trust being started in 2011 as well, operationalized then, it stemmed from the UK's Prince's Trust. That would be an initiative or a charity started off by Prince William himself. And a lot of the Caribbean islands were encouraged to mimic it, where the trust in itself seeks to provide mentoring services, training, grant funding, to be that kind of holistic support for entrepreneurs.
Okay.
So in the Caribbean islands as well, we have seen organizations emerging like the Commonwealth Alliance of Young Entrepreneurs, that would be CNC, well, Caribbean and Canada. We also there was the Caribbean Youth Business Trust. So they would provide support. They would also, I think the first cohort of mentors that we had for the St. Lucia Youth Business Trust was actually trained by representatives from the Barbados Youth Business Trust. So those islands as well also host Global Entrepreneurship Week and celebrate that activity as well.
Okay. Give us, walk me through. Somebody is interested in being an entrepreneur and have come to your desk. Okay. How can you get that person on board?
What we do from the trust perspective, other than the training that we offer, we look at the business plans that the persons would come up with, or first of all, just begin with a short dialogue about what it is that you want to do. Get into the mind of the entrepreneur to understand what business are they trying to start up, what resources do they have, what network can they build or rely on to really make that business work at the end of the day. Because we understand that though you may have businesses that would be sole traders, you cannot survive and run on your own. So more than just understanding the business, at the end of the day, we see or we ask what kind of support is necessary. We also have things like forms available on our Facebook page. So we ask persons to just tell us a little bit about the venture, what areas of support would they believe that they need, and also how they think the trust can assist them moving forward. And then that would directly affect our programming at the end of the day. So if we get a large number of persons needing support in financial literacy, accounting, we get persons needing support in business planning, then we would be able to prepare a program to assist those individuals.
Tailor-specific for them.
Yes.
Tailor-made.
In terms of funding, do you all assist if a good business idea fund that project?
Yes, we actually did a recent grant funding program that was supported by Tropical Shipping. The parent company, Solchuk, they have a giving committee where they support local projects throughout the Caribbean, and they decided to assist the Youth Business Trust with, I think, a monetary contribution of 15,000 US. And what we did, it was actually catering to persons ages 18 to 25. So we did invite young persons who have good business ideas, who would like to get support to apply. And what we want to do is continue with programs like those, where we have narrowed down the submissions to about 3 individuals. A total of 15 businesses did apply. I think the number was restrictive because of the age, but we try to focus on young persons and also look at employment as well.
Okay.
So we had businesses that would have said, after the injection of funds, we would be able to increase our employment numbers by a certain percentage. So the focus was on employment for the businesses that we would support.
Any of those businesses agriculture? No?
Let me see. Not directly. There was a restaurant which would rely on agriculture in a sense. The other two ventures, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, working with them from an agricultural perspective, have you had any over the years working with them have agricultural venture that where they have funded, they're giving you total assistance?
No, not to my knowledge. No, we haven't got it because the agricultural ventures, they continue from their parents. They have, most of them have their land and stuff. But the YAP program, we're still looking for the funds to inject into the YAP program, that the farmers can actually go onto the lands that we have already set up for them. But it's just the funding. The funding is the biggest problem right now for the program.
Having the three of you all here, Mrs. Seraphine, is there, I noticed, okay, there's no collaboration between Jeremie's unit and your unit yet. Okay. Agriculture, what happens? Anything?
Not so much, but we will engage persons from the agricultural sector. And again, when Ms. Phillip spoke to young persons who are now continuing the trade of farming from their parents who have retired from such an engagement, we are looking to give them some kind of support, because now we must see agriculture as a business and not just something you do to get by. And so there must be structure to it and to get them organized. And of course, I do agree with this discussion. I mean, funding is critical to the development and success of becoming an entrepreneur. And I hope that maybe even with your organization and your desk, that persons can, more than 3 persons, may be able to be successful in terms of being able to get funding to get business started, because it can be very demotivating when you struggle with funding, particularly young persons who may have come from college and has college loans and other forms of expenses. They can't quite see their way through to actually starting business. Another point that you touched on, which I think is critical also, you said financial literacy, but the Job Centre refers to it as financial intelligence. So we touch on areas of helping persons understand, you know, basic things like cash flow. How do you really handle your money? Everything is, all the monies you make will never be profits. But at the end of the day, what is your goal? What do you plan to do? The bigger your business becomes, the more persons you can employ. And this will help our economy so that you have a reduction or in some way alleviate the unemployment situation that we're currently facing.
How is one able to know of your existence, your unit existence? Do you all advertise? What do you do?
Okay, we have started our marketing campaign, so to speak. We have just identified a location for our office at the Gablewoods Mall in Sunny Acres. So we now have an office there. So persons who wish to contact us can find us at the Gablewoods Mall or contact me on my telephone number, which is 518.
So after walk me through, like I asked Jeremie, somebody comes to you and decide they're interested into what you're offering. In terms of training, I mean, do you have sessions, workshops? How is
yes, we have training sessions for individuals, again, per industry or generally as it relates to employability skills, the soft skills, so that we're training persons, because many times you find entrepreneurs who go into business are lacking what you call the basic customer service skill. And so they're not able to keep customers. And they wonder, well, why is my business fading? So we think it's an essential skill entrepreneurs must have. Apart from bigger things like the brand strategy and these things, I think customer service is also critical because that's your money and profits right there.
Okay, we're going for a second break. When I come back, I want to ask you about maybe a list of what you offer and for discussion. All right? We are due for a second break. Stay tuned.
What's in the food you're eating? Do you really even know? All the chemicals and hormones used to accelerate their growth. All the artificial flavoring, sweeteners and colors too. We consume and we don't spare a thought for the damage that they'll do. No, Think about the children. Think about the children. How will we save them? Chemicals and GMOs are not the solution. Use organic and join.
Excessive agrochemical use, additives, and genetically modified foods are harmful to health and the environment. Join the good food revolution. Grow, buy, and consume organic. A message from Rise St. Lucia and the Ministry of Sustainable Development with funding from the GEF Small Grants Program, UNDP.
The good food revolution.
Welcome back. You know, it's interesting, I now realize that what has come to the fore in that discussion is the marriage between the three of you all. Yes. Because it's interesting because the objectives are the same, really, if you really look at it, but they all need to collaborate. You know,
Yes,
so I'm hoping after this session here, I think there's need to sit, you know, and put a plan together and see how, because there can be, a conduit can be used to ensure that objective is met.
Absolutely.
That's right.
One of the problems we discussed earlier is the question of funding, okay? SLDB is one of the agencies that were tailored for that, you know, especially for agriculture and other small businesses. But there seems to be, I don't know whether you're feeling it, but I know over the years it has been frustrating for young people to get funding from SLDB and maybe from other institutions too. The only other institution I know that normally come on board because they're like a family are the cooperatives, credit union. Okay, how do you all see this?
I think funding, of course, is very critical, and for the ease of doing business so that young persons are encouraged and also empowered to do business, I think, you know, funding agencies or funding organizations should streamline the, you know, the funding processes so that young persons feel they can, you know, go to them for the necessary help that they need. Otherwise, you have a lot of red tape and a lot of protocol which can intimidate or somehow a young person might feel, well, you know, I don't feel confident enough to face these funding organizations. Another area I think which needs to be dealt with is to encourage persons to associate themselves, because what you call crowdfunding or group funding, I think is another area entrepreneurs can look at in terms of getting business started. Because so one person may have collateral, one person may have the land, another one may have some money, maybe 2 or 3 may have some money to put together and bring up the initial capital. And so they can work together, you know, as partners. But we seem to have a culture where everyone wants to do their own thing and to go solo. But according to the quotes, you know, I heard earlier, you know, together we bargain, but one-on-one we beg.
That's correct.
So we need to change that mentality and come together and work together to make it happen.
How do you see it, Jeremy?
Looking at the point that Ms. Seraphine would have mentioned, I think I want to focus on the investment especially. In our culture, investment is not something that's really brought to the fore. When you consider you have a venture, yes, and you have a network, you have a family, you know individuals, why not get those persons on board to invest in your business and really look at paying them back the dividends that you would have earned? Correct. If you do believe in your venture, you want to take that step, and you're ready to approach the financial institutions, which would maybe provide an exorbitant interest rate, why not look within your network? And it is something I believe a lot of businesses here in St. Lucia need to explore, seeing how best they could create an investment network as well. From the trust perspective, we want to see what we could explore in terms of venture capital, being able to provide that kind of support, and also with the crowdfunding. I believe that's something that's really important, where you put your business out there and you ask strangers, in a sense, to invest in it. You don't sell yourself only, but you sell your business idea, you sell your proposition.
That's right.
You sell the value that you're going to add to society.
That's right.
And if persons see the value in your business at the end of the day, they would take that step to invest in it. Right. So I believe in terms of funding, we know the situation with the banks, and it is imperative for those entrepreneurs to explore the options that they have.
Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah. From the YEP standpoint and from the minister's standpoint, how do you see this?
Well, with the youth, they don't have the experience that their parents had with the association. I've heard it before. They have gotten burnt by association. And I want the youth to separate what their parents experience to know that going in a group will be the best thing for them. With the YAP program, it's a group. It's a group of young entrepreneurs functioning in an agricultural setting. And we know that the monies are short, but we need to find a way. The ministry needs to find a way to get the monies for that to start. Because if this thing is successful, and I prayed that it was going to be successful long ago, but this project being successful would ripple throughout the whole country. And even other countries out there will see this YAP program was successful in St. Lucia, and it can happen in our country also. And the youth being empowered to make their own money, to be able to supply jobs to other persons in the community. It empowers them that they have more love for their country. And this is what we have to do.
And mind you, I mean, we know for a fact that government cannot employ everybody.
No,
it's impossible.
not
you know,
possible.
That's a fact.
You're right.
You know, so we need to find other opportunities out there to assist those young persons.
Oh,
and I like the idea of pooling your resources.
That's right.
You know, if you pull your resources together, and probably that's something that, I mean, maybe you need to do, you need to tell them. You know, going that self way, and people, like we said earlier, partnership is something where we're scared. And rightly so, don't forget, it's a question of trust.
Yes. Yes.
You know, and I've seen a number of organizations fall by the wayside because of trust, you know. But I think we need to rebuild. But how can we rebuild that?
It takes that leap of faith in a sense, because if you stick behind the hindrance of I don't trust anybody, then you're never gonna try. And if you never try, you're never gonna have the opportunity to succeed.
That's right.
It comes with the level of risk that yes, you could fail.
That's right. That's right. That's
so you have to, I think, for a lot of young persons especially, if we keep focusing on the things that are gonna stop us, if we focus on our hindrances, we're never going to do anything at the end of the day.
Great. I'm sure you have a lot of success stories. I noticed I had Alphonse with me some time ago. He won this, I think.
That's Jameson.
Jameson Alphonse, that's one lovely success story.
Yes, right.
And I'm sure you have many of those.
Yes,
with Jameson, he actually emerged at the St. Lucia Business Awards that's going to be happening again next year. We're looking at, it's going to be happening throughout Nobel Laureate Week, but the deadline for persons to apply is actually November 24th, and we're inviting all businesses to look out for the business awards and also apply, whether big or small. And we see individuals like himself gaining that confidence at the end of the day, to continue to pursue their businesses, to continue to do what they are doing. Look at Johan and Dujon, who we see making a lot of strides in the area of Segazam seaweed, using that seaweed to create a planktonic at the end of the day, and also exploring other ways that he could transform that product. And his story goes back to 2014, I believe.
Yes, it's about that.
When he started in it, he wasn't teaching, and he has no background in chemistry or that area. But he thought of the problem, and that was the time where a lot of our, I think it is the West Coast it is?
The East Coast.
The East Coast, yes.
It was really affected by the Segazam seaweed. And we had that stench in areas of Pralem, and he used that product and created something really good out of it.
Great. Final words from you in 2 seconds.
Okay, I think apart from focusing as the Job Centre Director on sustainable employment, which speaks to entrepreneurship, I think a critical area for us is to design some kind of financial analysis model, or a model that helps young entrepreneurs develop trust, so that the whole association thing can come about, because you have its advantages, advocacy, you know, to be able to expand and to reach out. So I think these things are really critical. And financial intelligence, of course, is critical to entrepreneurs, so that they understand not just to get into business, but how to stay into business and become financially successful.
2 seconds from you, Mr. Jeremie.
I would just encourage persons who have a business idea to pursue it. Seek the support that you need. Don't be afraid to ask. You have organizations like the ministry with the YAP program. You have Ms. Seraphine with the Job Centre. You have the St. Lucia Chamber of Commerce as well with the Trust, and also Junior Achievement. So look out there. Help is available.
Final words from you, ma'am.
Well, the Ministry of Agriculture will always be there to help our farmers, the young farmers especially, because that's the next generation to take over from the older farmers. And we need farmers. We need our local produce, because buy local, you support the economy.
Eat fresh and Lucia's best.
Eat fresh and Lucia's best. That's right.
Thank you, Mrs. Seraphine, Jeremy, and Dahlia. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome, Sydney.
I hope that marriage will start from today. You've been watching Agriculture on the Move. Thank you for viewing the program. And of course, view it every week on the various stations as we bring you information to stir you up. Start your new business ideas. Young people, all is not lost.
That's right.
I'm Phillip Sydney saying goodbye and see you again.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.